Today, I wanted to quickly talk to y'all about being true to yourself and authentic in the moment. You don't always have to force yourself to present in a certain way. You don't always have to force yourself to show up a certain way or to even show up at all, right? Sometimes you have to know when to take a break. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of LOFT Talk. I'm your host, Dareus White, and without further ado, let's get right into the episode. Today, I wanted to quickly talk to y'all about being true to yourself and authentic in the moment. You don't always have to force yourself to present in a certain way. You don't always have to force yourself to show up a certain way or to even show up at all, right? Sometimes you have to know when to take a break. Sometimes you have to know when to rest. Like I said in very old, well, it's not that old, but it's like about more than 15 episodes ago, I talked about rest being productivity. I think it was actually the second episode. And sometimes you have to take a break. I think I'm at a current, I don't want to say stage because I don't think it's like a huge chunk of time or like a very significant moment. But I think I'm just at a point in the week or the month or whatever the case may be where I'm feeling a little foggy, feeling a little, not necessarily burnt out, but just a little fuzzy and foggy. Like my thoughts aren't quite clear. I probably need to hit a reset and hit the drawing board again a little bit on a few things. And so I had to remind myself that it's okay to take a break or like back up off of something for a second. And so I'm reminding y'all to, go ahead and don't be afraid to revisit the drawing board. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to take a break from something. It doesn't mean you're giving it up altogether. It doesn't mean it has to be a long break, but just give yourself a moment to inhale some oxygen. You know what I'm saying? To recenter your thoughts, to recoup, to catch your breath, and then dive back into it if need be, right? Like I said, pivot. Know when to pivot. Try your best to pivot when necessary. Sometimes you may plan something a certain way. Sometimes you may plan for things to go perfectly as to the way you've seen them going in your head. And sometimes they don't always pan out that way. A lot of times they don't always pan out that way. Maybe even more often than not, they don't pan out that way. You need to get a little bit more comfortable. We need to get a little bit more comfortable with the idea of pivoting when necessary. I got a little more comfortable with the idea of pivoting a while back. And I think this is one of those moments that I'm experiencing where I have to pivot in not only one area, but a couple of areas. And just be on the lookout for when it's time to pivot. I think I want to highlight that as well. Be on the lookout for when it's time to pivot. Don't be afraid to pivot, and understand that pivoting does not mean failure. Pivoting does not mean the end. Pivoting does not mean things won't happen the way that they need to. You know what I'm saying? If you're a vessel for God specifically, then things are going to happen the way they're supposed to happen regardless, right? So know how to pivot, because the pivot may have always been in the plan. You get what I'm saying? Because I think we all know the saying that God plans, or not God plans. I think we all know the saying that man plans, God laughs, right? Or if you ever want to make God laugh, then tell him your plans. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you've heard one of those before. As cliche and as overused as it may be, it's true. It's like you don't plan so that your plans go exactly as planned. You plan so that you have a structure and something to operate on to get to where you're going. You plan as a roadmap to get to where you're going. However, God may have already created his roadmap to where you're going, and he's going to give you some detours and make you pivot at certain routes, but you still won't get to where you need to be. You get what I'm saying? You may have made a plan and a roadmap to get somewhere that God never intended for you to go. So he makes you pivot because his roadmap led you somewhere else where you needed to be, where you were supposed to be, where you would actually more enjoy being, because that's your actual purpose and you'll feel fulfilled doing it. Sometimes pivoting and changing your roadmap may require you to do something you didn't even guess you would be doing. You get what I'm saying? And I'm some of y'all may already I'm not saying everybody's plans for themselves are incorrect or totally wrong or is going to require some huge pivot. Some of y'all are right on the money with y'all's plans. Maybe y'all might need a little scooting over and a little pivoting here and there, but a lot of y'all, a lot of us, maybe even me, are super on the money with your plans for your life. God just needs to scoot you and guide you here and there, and maybe even make a few pivots so you get there correctly. Maybe so you get there the easier way, or maybe so you get there the way where you pick up these tools that you're absolutely going to need, or maybe he takes you this route because this route is going to give you this experience that you need to handle what's on the horizon. You get what I'm saying? You never know what the next move may be that God may have you on. You never know where your life may take you, and it may be necessary. It may not be going according to what you planned, but it may be according to the plan. You get what I'm saying? The plan for your life. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say is know when to take a break and or know when to pivot, and understand that pivoting or taking a break is not failure. It's not giving up. It's not the end all be all. It's a lot of times it isn't even a bad thing, like at all. You get what I'm saying? So don't allow the world to confuse you and make you think that pivoting or stopping something or restructuring something and going back to the drawing board and reworking something is a bad thing or a sign of failure, right? It's all working together for the greater good of you and your path in your life, right? That's all I wanted to say to y'all. That's all I really had to say. That's all that was on my spirit. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That's all that was on my spirit. I really didn't even know. Usually I have topics and things planned. I didn't have anything planned for today. I just knew that I was feeling some type of way. I knew that I had a sort of a mindset shift or a mental shift, so to speak. And I knew what I had been feeling lately. So I was like, I'm gonna turn on the mic and I'm gonna just share my literal feelings and thoughts of the right now. And so that message is for me and y'all. And until next episode, peace.